Hi everyone, this is Melissa. I'm the director here at New Mexico Wildlife Center, and today I'm going to take you on at least a brief tour of our DuPont Family Wildlife Walk here at the Wildlife Center. This is the main trail that you would walk along if you could come and visit us. You can normally when we're open Monday through Saturday, but of course at this time we are closed to the public for the coronavirus crisis right now, but we'll hope to open again soon. So when you do get the chance to come and visit us, you'll be able to walk along this walk and see a lot of our ambassador animals, and that's what we're going to do here this afternoon. At least give you a brief overview of what we're doing, or what we have here. I just should mention that the Wildlife Center is pretty much totally supported by donations and grants, and of course gate admissions and sales and so forth. So we really appreciate your support, and should you feel like donating to the center, you can do so through our website at newmexicowildlifecenter.org. So let's take a little walk. The weather's fairly nice. It's normally fairly windy in March in New Mexico, but we've got a little break this afternoon. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So, lovely sunny day, beautiful blue sky here at the Wildlife Center. And we are located just north of Santa Fe, about 20 minutes, close to Espanola, New Mexico, but a little bit south of Espanola. Conveniently located between Santa Fe and lovely view of a mesa. We often have ravens and hawks nesting out there. This is our cactus garden. Off to the left, maybe next week or the week after, we'll do a tour of the cactus garden if we aren't open yet. It looks like it's getting ready to bloom. All right, continuing up this way. Oh, we should pause here and visit the Pika board. One of our volunteers, Deb, made this board for us. She painted it by hand. We absolutely love it. So kids can put their heads and hands through there and get their picture taken. It's a really nice addition to our center. I hope you can hear that. That's Cibola. Cibola is our northern goshawk ambassador animal. We're just coming up to her enclosure, and she is probably, I guess, announcing that it's springtime here, as she has significantly increased her vocalizing. There she is. She's one of the birds that has received a fully remodeled habitat in the last couple of years. She seems to enjoy it very much. Oh, she maybe doesn't enjoy being filmed. We'll just keep moving. You can see here her sign. She came to us in 2010 as a young bird, so she's about 10 years old, maybe 11 years old. Since she doesn't seem to be fond of the camera here, we'll move along. Farther up the path is Moreno. By the way, all of our ambassador animals here are not able to return to the wild for a variety of reasons. Cibola in particular had an injured wing, and so she was unable to fly well enough to be released. And this is Moreno in here, our golden eagle. A little hard to see with the shadows that we have in New Mexico. But Moreno came to us in 1998, so he's one of our older ambassadors. He was found on the side of the highway in southern New Mexico. He has an eye injury and was treated for head trauma. And because he is mostly blind in one eye, he was unable to return to the wild. He also has one of the newly remodeled enclosures here. And we also are very grateful, by the way, to our enclosure, our habitat sponsors, as well as our sign sponsors. They've donated some funds to help support the Wildlife Center, and we thank them by acknowledging them on the habitats. A little farther along the wildlife walk here, we have our bobcat enclosures. We have Rufus, our male bobcat. He's been here since 2004 when he was brought in as a youngster, an orphan. Let's see if we can get a closer look at him. He's back in the shadows. It's pretty common here in New Mexico, of course. In the afternoon, the animals often retreat to the shadows. He's back there in his shift area. Looks like he just had his lunch served to him. We'll move along and see if we can see Joni, who is a little more amenable to coming out front usually. She came to us in 2006, also as an orphan, and is kind of, I don't know, extra friendly. She's interested in people. She usually comes right up front. I think I see her here in the shadows. Don't know if you can make her out there in the shadow in the center of the frame. Right up in there. We'll walk around and see if she maybe comes around to the other side for us. All right. Continuing along the pathway here. Not quite late enough for us to have blooming yet, but it's coming soon, and the grounds are absolutely beautiful when they are in bloom. Let's see if Joni maybe is interested in coming over and checking us out. Hey, Joni, can you come on over here? Nope. As typical of a cat, I guess, being aloof here this afternoon. You can see her kind of in the center of the frame, back in the shadows. We'll continue on along and see if she'll maybe come around as we walk around this way. Again, if you're just joining us, this is New Mexico Wildlife Center. We're walking along the DuPont Family Wildlife Walk, giving you just a quick tour of what the place looks like, since you can't visit in person right now as we're closed to the public. We're hopeful that we'll be able to be open again soon, but for the time being, maybe at least you can get a view of what's here behind the scenes. And Joni's still in the shadows. Well, here we are at an enclosure, a habitat that has not been fully remodeled yet. We don't have a sponsor for this enclosure, but we hopefully will soon. You can see Cinder, one of our newest birds, in the middle. She just arrived in late 2018. She was hit by a vehicle found along the roadside on I-25 along the highway. She is completely blind in one eye. Oops, she just moved to a spot where you might be able to see her a little better. She's a dark phase redtail, very beautiful. We'll hope to feature her in one of our animal encounter videos, Facebook Live videos, soon. A little bit farther along the path, this is Sienna. She was also brought in as a juvenile hawk, but she's a little bit older. Came to us in 2010. Also a bird from New Mexico, and also happens to be blind in one of her eyes. She was discovered to have bullets in one of her eyes when she came in as a patient in our wildlife hospital, and had the eye removed. So she is also, like Cinder, only sighted in one eye. Now, of course, hawks are heavily reliant upon their vision for hunting, and so one-eyed hawks are not considered releasable, as they would be unable to have good enough depth perception to hunt and successfully capture their prey. So that's the story of the two red-tailed hawks. It's just sort of an anomaly that both of them happen to be one-eyed birds. And since they both arrived as juveniles, they've made excellent ambassador animals, as young birds tend to adjust a little bit better than older birds when they come into human care. A little bit farther along the path here, we have another one of our older gals, one of our older ambassador birds. She's a Harris's hawk. Harris hawks are native to this part of the country, the desert Southwest. And she also does not have a sponsor yet for her enclosure. And when she does, we'll get to remodeling it as well. It looks like she's having her lunch in there, right in roughly the center of the frame there. Her name is Lupe, and she was hatched in 1992. She was a falconry bird and eventually came to join us here in her retirement. All right, so Continuing up the pathway, we have Fergie the ferruginous hawk, and I happen to know Fergie is a little bit nervous about me in particular. She finds me a little scary. Maybe my staff do too. I don't know. We'll have to ask them. But at the very least, I'm going to stay back from her enclosure a little bit so I don't cause her any concern. Ferruginous hawks are the largest hawks in North America. They're really a beautiful hawk, and she came into human care in 2013. She has a wing injury that doesn't enable her to be returned to the wild. If you're just joining us, I should mention New Mexico Wildlife Center is supported by donations and grants, and we sure appreciate those of you who do sponsor us. It really helps us continue our work, both with the ambassador animals and in our wildlife hospital, in which we care for about 800 patients a year. We have a beautiful setting here at the Wildlife Center. You can see the mountains in the distance. Those are our intern housing up there in front of the mountains. And we've just added a new enclosure over here where Mesquite the coyote lives. He is still adjusting, so we're not going to go over too close to his enclosure, but he is getting more and more comfortable every day, and hopefully we'll be able to feature him on an animal encounter sometime in the future as well. All right, turning back. Snow still on the mountains. It's kind of interesting since it's almost short sleeve weather here. This is one of the enclosures that is currently under renovation. Thanks to our generous friends Jim and Nancy Houghton. They've sponsored the remodeling of this enclosure. It's going to house 3 small owls: Aurora, our screech owl; Grub, our burrowing owl; and Radar, our long-eared owl. So it's a nice big enclosure. It's just been taken apart. We had some volunteers helping us remodel it, and of course, since we've had to close down, we've gotten a little bit slower on putting it back together. But we're excited about it and can't wait to get to work on it again. All right, a little farther up the line here is our oldest ambassador animal. Her name is Oscar. She's a great horned owl. Let's see if our light is good enough for you to be able to see her in there. She's sitting on top of her box, which is where she usually likes to sit. Of course, we built the box and put it in there in the hopes that she would go into it so she could, as owls like to do, hide inside there. But she has chosen instead to sit on top. And by the way, she is going to be 36 years old this spring. She's a fantastic girl. She's been an ambassador animal to help us teach thousands of children about wildlife, and actually been a foster mom to young great horned owls as well. She's excellent, really neat bird. Well, the bushes are starting to look nice and green. Here we are at Manchado, the spotted owl's enclosure. And he also is hiding on top of his box. Usually he's one of the guys that likes to sit inside. Manchado came to us in 1998. He was found on a highway in the mountains of New Mexico, probably the victim of a vehicle impact. No way to tell for sure. Spotted owls are an unusual species. In many areas, they're endangered. Now, he's a Mexican spotted owl, not a northern spotted, so different subspecies. Of course, it's hard sometimes to see the owls, especially on a camera. During the daytime, they like to kind of hide out as best they can. All right. Let's continue up the walkway here. Here's another one of our completely remodeled enclosures. This is our friend Bubo, the great horned owl. She's one of my favorites here. You can hear her calling. Let's see if she'll do it again. Hi, Bubo. How's it going? Of course, now she's quiet. So she may join in here in just a minute. There she goes. That was her voice. She came to us from Illinois. She was a young bird brought into a rehabilitation facility there, and unfortunately was determined to be imprinted on humans, and so couldn't be released. That means she was habituated to people. There she is. I guess came down to get a little bit closer. She's kind of funny. Not only is she very vocal, like you can hear, but she also really likes to play with toys like a tennis ball. She loves her tennis ball. And she has one of those like retrieving dummies, like you use for training retrieving dogs. She has just got that last week and adores it. So we kind of have fun trying to see what sorts of items we can enrich the animals' lives with. All right, let's continue on. Again, the mountains look so beautiful today in the sunshine. This is Corazon. She is a barn owl. See if we can get her in the frame here. There she is. She also is vocalizing. There it was. She was raised in an education, for education, at a breeding program on the East Coast. Barn owls tend to do much better in human care if they are raised in human care. You can see that we've done some specially designed shelters for her. She usually is inside one of them. She seems to really like her A-frame huts. That call you hear is kind of a baby food begging call. Apparently she hasn't had lunch yet. All right, we'll continue on the pathway here. All right, here's one of our next enclosures that's due for remodeling. Inside this side is Cricket. She is a Swainson's hawk. Her body posture tells me she might not be crazy about me standing right here with the phone pointed at her. She is a human imprint, meaning she grew up around people. And again, if you're just joining us, this is New Mexico Wildlife Center. We're taking a brief tour of our Ambassador Animal Walkway, which is called the DuPont Family Wildlife Walk. We're a nonprofit organization supported by donations and grants primarily, so we sincerely appreciate all of our friends and supporters out there. Thank you so much. So there's Cricket. She's a native New Mexican. She was taken to a wildlife hospital as a youngster, but apparently had been kept too long in captivity before she was taken to the hospital, and thus became imprinted on humans. And she is going to be moving up the road here when we go to, or up the walkway here once we go to remodel this enclosure. And her neighbor is Radar the long-eared owl. And he also will be moving. In fact, he'll be moving to that enclosure that we passed that was taken apart and all ready for remodel. So there he is in the back corner. All right, let's continue on. Next enclosure is one of our brand new ones, newly remodeled. It's Alice, the Cooper's hawk. I didn't name her, but it does make me laugh every time I say it. She's there in the middle, roughly in the middle there. You can see her moving. She came to us as a juvenile. She was admitted to our wildlife hospital with two broken wings, one on each side. And although they've healed, they haven't healed well enough for her to be released. So she is one of our ambassador birds here. Again, I mentioned that our habitats, our enclosures are being sponsored by our generous supporters. And that helps us do the remodeling and really design these enclosures specially and specifically for each individual animal. So we really appreciate you, Liz, and all the other folks who have sponsored these enclosures. Tomorrow, by the way, Alice has a two-sided enclosure because Cooper's hawks are found both in wooded habitats as well as backyard habitats. We tried to illustrate that here with our enclosure where this is more of a backyard setting, and the side that she is hiding out on right now, there she is more of a woodland setting. Tomorrow, we were going to do a Facebook Live with one of our animal ambassadors outside of their enclosure, so you can join us for that tomorrow and Thursday as well. I don't know who it is yet that we're going to be featuring, but we'll post that on our Facebook page soon. This is another one of our enclosures due for remodel soon. but currently it houses our peregrine falcon, Olympia. She came to us from Washington State. You can just see her there. Unfortunately, this wire is white, so it's a little harder to see her with the camera lens. She has a wing injury, but she can't be released because of it, but she's an excellent ambassador bird. And this enclosure is closed off for the moment under renovations. And then moving up the line, I think we'll be able to see my friend here, the turkey vulture. Our turkey vulture's name is Soul. There he is, sitting in the back. He is also imprinted on humans, raised by people, can't be returned to the wild. If you listen closely, you might be able to hear him grunting occasionally. Let's see if he'll do it for us. Hey, buddy. There were 2 grunts. There he is. He's preening back in the corner and then every once in a while grunting. Springtime, you know, and the turkey vultures, they have a grunting sound when they do their courtship. It's kind of cute, actually. I hate to say that, but it is. Now, you might not even be able to hear him, though, over the calling in the background. We're working our way up to her. Our volunteers were kind enough, 2 of our volunteers, to make this model of an eagle nest. It's almost life-size. Gives kids the chance to put their hands on a nest and even pull sticks out and put them back in if they want to. All right. Oh, here's little Juniper. Juniper is one of our newest additions. Let me see if I can get down. Come on over here, Junebug. She is a gray fox. Don't think she understands why I'm on this side of the fence. There she is. Boy, isn't she adorable. She is just about 1 year old and just moved into this habitat, about a month ago, I think. I should mention here that one way that you can help out the animals here, the animal ambassadors, is by considering an animal adoption. We have an adoption program that is kind of like a sponsorship program that enables folks to make a donation to the Wildlife Center, which helps to care for the animal ambassadors. And we'll send you a photo, a little bit of information about the animal and about the species that you are supporting. And for all of you adoptive parents out there, we sure appreciate it. You really help us keep doing what we do. It looks like Juniper has gone into the shadows. So we'll move on up the walkway here and see what else we can see. This is the current end of our wildlife walk. Oops, maybe there. Oh, there's Juniper. Hi, Juniper. Come on over. There she is. You can see why she is not releasable back into the wild. She's super friendly. In fact, she was turned in as a young fox kid at the local animal shelter, who then, of course, got her to a wildlife rehabilitator. But she was already playful and wanting to be around people, soliciting play from humans. So cute. All right. We'll come back and check on her in a minute. So this is the current end of our wildlife walk. We do hope in the not too distant future to continue this path around to make a circle back over there towards the coyote enclosure and add some more exhibits along this side of the grounds. We have 20 acres total here. About half of it is dedicated to the wildlife hospital and the other half dedicated to our animal ambassadors. Now here's the bird that almost everybody asks about when they come to visit. Hi, Maxwell. Calling out to us. This is Maxwell, our bald eagle. He has been here since 1991. He just entered kind of a semi-retirement, I think last year, because he's starting to show signs of some arthritis and some cataracts. So he doesn't have to do programs anymore, but he's on display for folks to come and visit and meet up close here. He's just been a fantastic ambassador. He's very comfortable around people and comfortable in his work as an ambassador. Just hanging out. Good day for it. Nice weather today. And the noisy girl that we've been listening to is this one over here. Let's see if we can get a good look at her. Here she is. This is Electra. She's an osprey. She came to us as a nestling in 2006. Her nest was built too close to a power line and eventually caught on fire because of a spark, we believe. And she was severely burned. So she has some scarring, including kind of a misshapen beak. She can eat on her own, though, and she gets around very well. So we know that she's a fairly comfortable bird, although she has started to show some signs of some arthritis in her hip joint. So we're kind of keeping an eye on that. All right. Well, that's it for the whole trail here, the whole wildlife walk. We'll kind of look back here quickly just to give you a feel for what it looks like here, the beautiful mesa in the background, the mountains. It's really a lovely place to come. New Mexico Wildlife Center, come and visit us sometime after we're open again. Our normal hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Of course, right now we're closed due to the coronavirus, and that's why we thought we'd give you a little bit of a live, Facebook Live virtual tour. But normally you can come and see us. It's a great place to bring a lunch, sit outside on a picnic table, enjoy the beautiful blue skies that we have here in New Mexico, sit in front of one of the habitats, get to know the birds a little bit, or Juniper, the gray fox. There's Alice again, just on the way by. So I want to thank you all for spending time here with us today on Facebook Live. I'll leave you with a shot of the mountains and the beautiful blue sky. And thank you if you're one of our supporters, one of our donors. Thank you very much for everything you do for us. If you are interested in learning more about the Wildlife Center or how to support us, feel free to visit our website, newmexicowildlifecenter.org. We really appreciate all the help we get. Thanks so much for joining us. I see that we've got some folks here joining us right now. We are a nonprofit organization supported by your donations and grants. So thank you again, and we'll see you tomorrow on Facebook Live. We're going to feature one of our animal ambassadors up close and personal. So join us again tomorrow. Thanks so much, and everybody stay safe out there.